Do Artistic One, Anthony Duart himself,
How's it going?
Tyler Hadley.
Hey
He's got no
everybody!
nickname this week.
Just Tyler Hadley. What I am.
Just good old Tyler
I am
Hadley.
the samurai, Tyler Hadley. Oi.
He is the samurai. We got a whole lot of Ghost of Tsushima talk coming up ahead, and just moving forward with the show in general. We want to have one specific topic that we're really zeroing in on each week. Doesn't necessarily have to be a game, but we're going to do a little bit more prep time ahead of the fact of recording, so we can really get into the nitty gritty about things that people are passionate about in the group. And we're also going to have a little bit more of a rotation as far as people on the show. This week, Kenny is getting a well-deserved week off, and we hope to see him next week. Likely keep it on a rotational type of biz. But before we jump into the usual game talk, as well as the usual banter, I want to remind everybody that the show goes live on twitch.tv/levelwithyou every Tuesday at around 5:36-ish. You can find the video later on YouTube and the audio version on many different podcast services. If you'd like to join our Discord, please do so. A lot of activity going on there, but we'd like to hear more from the listeners. All right. So, guys, how you doing? We're in the heat of summer now. It's like July 20-something.
It's hot outside.
Turning 30 in 1 week.
Yeah,
Well, I think, what were they saying? Sunday was the hottest day of the year.
Yeah.
it was wild.
Yeah, it was pretty warm out on Sunday.
I'm glad I
Did
slept.
not
through
leave
it.
the house.
Yep, stayed in my room.
Yeah, it's been like in the low to mid 90s a couple days this week with some humidity. So yeah, I've definitely been trying to stay in when it gets that hot out. It's no fun.
Anthony needs to have a pool party at his
I do,
dad's
like I said.
house.
Whenever you guys want to come over.
I want to come
Gotta
over
go.
every weekend.
All right.
Pool
Guess
party.
you and Alex not home.
Why not?
No, I'm joking. It'll be good. Yeah, we gotta go. I think I swam in it once so far since I moved. But
Dang, if I had a parent with an in-ground pool, I feel like I'd be having my friends over there all the time.
that's true. I'm just lazy. Don't want to move. But yeah, we should do that.
Mode.
Oh yeah, that's why you can't pack on a pounds being active. I got bulk up for the winter.
Mhm.
See, this is thinking ahead.
Speaking of bulking up, I happened to come across a free grill, so I'm excited about that.
Nice.
I,
Speaking
it's
of
charcoal.
bulking up, did you get your bands yet?
Dude, you won't believe it. I just got an email the other day. It said, your bands are on the way, arriving July 30th.
Oh my
Oh, God.
gosh. Did you
haven't
order them like a
eaten
month
in a
ago?
I ordered them on July 7th.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it's a total of 23 days if they actually get here on July 3rd. So yeah, it's been frustrating. Haven't been able to get swole again. Still got the COVID quarantine pounds put on. But I did get my bike fixed. I got a flat
Nice.
tire, and I'm back out on that, which always feels good.
Nice.
What about you, Tyler? You been doing any biking or kayaking the past couple weeks?
I went kayaking a couple weeks ago. Haven't been biking. I've been doing my insanity workouts every day for the past month. Pretty sure I've lost. So when I came back from Texas, I weighed myself and I was like just over 200 pounds. It was like 200.5. And that's like the
Ooh,
heaviest
where
I've
I'm
been. The heaviest I've been in a while. So I was like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
I gotta like really do something."
Yeah, I
And
didn't know that because you're, what are you, 5'10", 5'9", 5'11"?
I'm like 5'10".
5'11"? Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, I started doing insanity.
Insanity's been key.
Yeah, I lost like 12 pounds so far.
Pretty good, pretty
Nice.
good. I can see it in your face. You're not
Less
you're not
chub.
soft and pudgy like me.
That's why you grow the beard out, Wiley, because that way it covers all the chub or most of the chub. It pushes
No,
the
you
chub
can't
up.
grow beard. All I can grow is a prickly old mustache.
I'll let you know next time I shave. I can bring it over. We'll glue it.
Yeah.
Won't look bad at all. Promise.
In fact, we were just talking pre-show about things that I get in my Facebook feed, and for a while they were trying to get me with the beard oil, like that would help me grow beard.
Oh,
yeah.
snake oil, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess I didn't click it enough times. I haven't seen it in a while. Now it's all
There you
about
go.
these samurai or Japanese street style pants, which are a little pricey. My wife doesn't think I can pull them off. Please don't. Please
I want to
don't.
see a picture still. I'm interested. It sounds sick.
I'll link it in the Discord for sure. So yeah, anybody want to mention anything else going on in their lives before we take a deep dive into the island of 13th century Tsushima?
The AC broke at work today. That was fun. Just being all sweaty at my desk.
So what do you
But
guys have? Like a window unit? It's like or is it
it's
central
like
central
a
air?
kind of like a central air thing. So I know that the guys that were working on it, or the repair guys from the other building, were over here, and we're on the third floor, and the unit's like on the roof.
Mhm.
And apparently it's like 40 something years old. They haven't changed it out yet. So
Jeez.
they've just been trying to like puff it in life every year, because it happens like once it gets like hits that one hot day in the summer every year, it fails, and it just like poops out and doesn't like work at all, because it's working great before, but every year it does that. And yeah, I guess I gotta get a fan.
Mm.
What a load of baloney.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Not a fan.
Every year it seems like my wife works in cheese, as I've mentioned on the show. She's a cheesemonger. She's the cheese buyer, cheese genius.
Cheese
Genius.
prodigy.
Cheese prodigy. The fridge breaks at her work every year, which is very stressful because there's thousands of dollars of product within the fridge, and you gotta rush it over into the freezer, and some
That's like
stuff
one of
you
those
gotta
big ass
go.
fridges too, right? The industrial ones.
Oh, it's big. Like it's imagine the type of fridge in a grocery store in like the seafood department type thing.
Holy shit.
Real big display and everything that costs like $20,000.
Ugh.
So yeah, that's nothing that I have to deal with anymore now that I just make phone calls for a living,
There you go.
which is pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, the latest PS4 exclusive, may actually be the final PS4 exclusive. We are down to the wire with
I've been
the
hearing.
PS4's run. And that's kind of wild, man. I was thinking of like compiling a list and doing a ranking of like first party PlayStation exclusives, and it's been quite a lineup. I mean, the first one that
Yeah.
comes to mind is the Sucker Punch title, Infamous Second Son. And now 6 years later, we get their follow up with Ghost of Tsushima, and I think that it has been worth the wait, and that's been mine and Tyler's experience that so far. We got a lot we want to talk about it. It's the game that's kind of made Tyler love gaming again after he had a couple weeks where nothing was really jiving with him, which we've all gone through gaming ruts in the past. So I have it broken down here into several different areas, but before we kind of get into that, you want to just tell me about your overall experience so far, Tyler?
Man, I'm loving this game. Like, I think I wrote in the Discord about how the feeling when I play this game really takes me back to like the feeling I had when I first played like the first Red Dead Redemption, because I feel like when Red Dead Redemption came out, there wasn't a whole lot of games like it at the time. And yeah, this Ghost of Tsushima now is just kind of bringing back that same feeling, and because it is like fresh and new, and like, I mean, you're a samurai and feudal Japan, and I don't know, compare that to like being a cowboy in the West or whatever,
Really
and
makes you feel like you're in their shoes.
yeah, for sure. And I compare it to like Red Dead Redemption 1 and not Red Dead Redemption 2, just because it was like such a new experience with Red Dead Redemption 1.
Mm-hmm.
And this really brings out the same thing, and like the way like the horses work and like the movement and everything like felt really fluid, and all the character development and all the side stories that are happening really draw you in. Like, I find myself like blatantly trying to ignore the main quest missions just because I want to explore all the time and find out what's out there. And I want to upgrade Jin as much as possible before I go out and do the main quests. That's where the appeal lies for me.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely also have been feeling similar ways to the way you have as far as wanting to complete all the side quests, because they're so engaging, and the rewards that you're given are, more than just a few XP points on your XP bar. They're actually useful charms, which are the game's form of perks that you can equip on Jin. They're maybe a cool dye for your gear, or any little bit of health that you gain really is going to help you, because I don't know about you, I'm playing it on hard and it's pretty challenging.
Yeah, I've been playing it on normal, and there still are some like challenging parts on normal. A couple of the duels have been challenging. I know you're not in Act 2 yet, but I feel as though the difficulty kind of ramps up quite a bit in Act 2, where they're like really sending like a lot of people at you at once.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where I felt like, okay, maybe I'm going to put this down to normal, and that was actually especially true really early on before I had a lot of the skills that I've acquired now. I actually feel like for me, it started off more difficult, and now it's pretty balanced overall. But I'm still in Act 1. You're well into Act 2. So we'll see how things advance with the difficulty. I do love the duels, and for the viewers and listeners, the duels are sort of like boss fights, but they remove a lot of they're one-on-one fights where they remove a lot of your um, abilities that you've gained, and it just kind of boils down to straight parrying and dodging and just honorable samurai type combat, which I think is really cool.
What do you think about the different stances and everything?
Yeah, so the stances are also neat. Reminds me a little bit of Neo, the ninja game from a few years ago, as well as Neo 2, which I haven't gotten around to yet. I think they're pretty neat. I mean, the way that you change your stance is you hold R2 and then you either press one of the 4 face buttons and you'll switch between the stone stance. Is that what the original one's called?
Yeah, I think it's stone is effective against swordsman. Water is effective against shieldman. What's the next one? Wind.
I don't know.
I think
only
it's
have the first 2.
I think it's stone, water, wind, and moon.
So it kind of boils down to like a rock paper scissors kind of system.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Behind that. Because really, like, I mean, especially like as you progress in the game, like you have to be changing stances, or else you're gonna constantly be getting blocked and parried by the opponent. So if you're fighting a spearman but you're in the stone stance that is supposed to be fought with against swordsmen, these spearmen are just gonna like block all your attacks, and you're not gonna be able to drain their stamina and stagger them as easily. It'll take a lot longer if you try to, and it's likely that you'll just get stabbed a few times in between there.
Yeah, so it's like an incentive to not just brute force, like mash your way through. Just kind of think about, put a little more depth into the combat.
Yeah, and it really makes you try to like mix up your inputs too, between like heavy attacks and quick attacks. And I know there's some abilities that you unlock later on where if you dodge right at the last moment, then you'll get like an extra attack off and bonuses for doing like perfect parries and all that stuff.
One thing I did see that was really cool in the reviews that I watched was that when you start a battle or when you come up on people, you can kind of like slow down. I don't know if it has to be triggered at all, but you slow down, you like draw your weapon, and you wait for them to strike. And then if you get it, like you get it off before, you can take out like 3-4 people in a row.
Yeah, the standoffs.
Yeah.
So the standoffs, it's an interesting mechanic. A lot of times when you're approaching a fight where there's several people off, either on a route from town to town, or if you're going into a settlement trying to liberate it, you press up on the D-pad, you initiate a standoff, and you hold down the triangle button, and as soon as you see the person start their attack, you let go. And sometimes they'll even do actually now pretty much every time they do like a little juke and try to fake you out, like, oh, I'm gonna attack.
Yeah.
And if you let go of triangle too soon, you screw it up. And for me, it is so essential to win these standoffs that it's make or break the fight. Like, because not only do you one hit KO guy, but I have another upgrade now where another guy charges at me and you get another really easy one hit KO. And then on top of that, you get your resolve bar like fully filled up, which is essentially your heal / use different abilities gauge. So it's like if you don't win the standoff, a lot of times I end up dying. So
oh god.
Yeah.
Super. It's easy though. Like I get them like 80-90% of the time.
Right. Yeah, but then I mean, there's definitely been times where I've screwed up and let go too early, And in that case, it brings your health down to like nothing, and then you immediately have to mash the heal button to make sure you don't get hit again before someone attacks you.
Now, how do you heal in this game? Is it like we got Estus flasks, we got blood shards?
It's the resolve. So the resolve is just like these little, I don't know, they're yellow circles above your health bar that you gain resolve after killing enemies or doing those standoffs and stuff like that, assassinations and whatnot.
Or a perfect parry, pretty much just doing cool stuff. Will get your bars up.
And you turn those yellow spheres into your health bar somehow?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you press down on the D-pad and it'll take one resolve away and give you back some health.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
and can you increase your maximum as you like level up?
Yep.
Yeah, so you start the game with only 3 balls of resolve. 3 balls of resolve. And
it works so well. That's why they chose it.
Now I am up to like 7 or 8, maybe.
Nice.
Tyler probably got way more than that.
7 or 8. 7 or 8. That sounds like a lot.
Well, maybe it's 6 or I know it's at least 6. But
I think I think I might have like 8 right now.
Gotcha. So yeah, it's visually the game is beautiful. I recently just purchased a TCL 6 Series TV after many recommendations on the Giant Bomb Facebook group, and I have to say, so far they were very right. The thing is awesome. For our viewers, I'm going to pan the camera around. There it is in all its glory. I'm playing with HDR enabled. It's my first time ever owning a TV capable of HDR, and one thing it makes the sun and the moon and just the lighting effects on the grass so much more striking, to the fact where you're wanting to call your roommate or your wife in to be like, hey, come check this out. Look how bright this is. Like the sunset, isn't it crazy? And they're like, yeah. Cool, man.
That's
okay,
a good
bye.
One. Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna go back to doing what I was doing before you called me in here.
Yeah. And I was thinking I was playing 4K too, but then I'm dumb and I realized I just have the PS4 Slim and it doesn't do 4K, but it still looks amazing.
I don't even know if the game plays at 4K or not, because I know on my TV it's not like going into 4K.
Really?
I think it's just staying at 1920.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's like a PlayStation setting or I know it seems like my TV doesn't have HDR or like true HDR, so I can't turn HDR on. It seems like.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But I think
sorry,
it does have
man.
4K. Maybe go into the settings and check the output on the PS4, because that's what I was trying to do. And when I didn't see 4K, I was like, huh? And then Googled it and I was like, oh yeah, I knew that. But yeah, I think it does have 4K after my quick Google search. So check it out. You can report back next week if you're able to.
All right, I'll look into it more.
Enable it. It definitely has, unfortunately, slowed down the frame rate for me. Like sometimes the battles can get a little chuggy, but the visual difference is totally worth it. Like I'm fine with this not playing as smoothly as Sekiro, because it has such an incredible amount of beauty. So let's talk about more of the things that we put out in the outline. So how are you feeling about story, the character of Jin, the side quests, just in general? Is it connecting with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really engaging. It's basically, I mean, you're following Jin, who grew up as a honorable samurai and following the samurai's code, but him being basically the lone survivor after the Mongols attack.
Which is right off the bat.
Yeah, he kind of just starts having this internal struggle about like can he actually save his island by following this code of honor. So like he ends up meeting characters who kind of challenge that code of honor.
quickly decides, no, I need to shake things up a little bit and stab people in the back and drop some smoke bombs. But
Ninja samurai.
but he keeps some of his honorable tendencies with things like the standoffs, and he reflects and writes haikus and is thoughtful, sitting naked in the hot springs.
What a dream boat.
Oh yeah.
I
Hell
saw
yeah.
a funny meme of, I guess, the actor of Jin was playing the game on stream, and his reaction to his getting naked and sitting in the hot springs was like pretty funny.
She was like, "Oh man, now I'm naked."
I think he was pretty happy about enthusiastic about it.
They modeled me perfectly.
He's
Yeah,
like, "I
right.
look good."
Ooh, dang.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I think Jin is a pretty solid character so far. I'm pretty early on in the story, so I'm looking forward to see where his arc goes. I like learning about his past. The game does a similar thing to The Last of Us 2 with flashbacks in meaningful ways, where you're actually getting some pretty good backstory, like when you're getting trained by your uncle, who's very much rooted the tradition of the samurai and the code into his mind, who's his father figure, due to his father being killed at a young age. So the side quests, my favorite so far being the one of Lady Masako, and her revenge quest to overtake the people that, or to kill the people that murdered her family. That's been really engaging so far. I'm only like, I think I completed part 5 or 6 out of 9, and now I can't do 7, 8, or 9, so they must be like walled off in chapter 2 or in act 2. Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
So that's been great. Some of the smaller stories are a little so-so, but that's to be expected with an open world RPG. And I heard an interesting. Sorry to keep on. I've been talking for a while, but the character quests are a little analogous to the Persona friendship links or whatever. I heard that on the Kind of Funny Games cast and thought that was interesting. I don't know if you find them analogous at all.
To the Persona friendship, I don't get that. I don't understand the
The social
comparison.
links. So like the people you interact
links,
with
so like,
people in Ghost, it's like you social link with them. So does talking with them like give you any kind of bonus or like growing your relationship
I don't think so.
with them in that way? Oh, okay.
Well, they have like 9 steps, and there's like 10 stars on the Persona links, and I don't know.
I guess
They're a little bit similar. Whatever. I thought you'd like.
They're probably similar in idea, but not. Like
I disagree. Being a Persona expert, I don't agree.
All right. I
Persona
fair point. Dumb thing to say.
But I was gonna say that I have enjoyed just like the random encounters, like just like the random people you see in some towns. You talk to them, and they'll give you kind of like a hint as to like where something might be or where something might be happening. And then that marks an area on your map. And you get those from people in towns, or sometimes you'll like rescue somebody from Mongols just in like a random path. So I think that's been a really cool part of the game as well.
And going on what you were saying about giving hints, the game is fantastic in how it directs the player without having to follow a mini map or just look at a compass the whole time, because you're being guided by the wind. And with a slight up, you on your map, you select where you want to go, the area, and then you just swipe up on the D-pad, and the wind will guide you there. So you're not having to keep. It's very dynamic. It fits in with the theme of the game. It goes along with the visuals of there being floating flower petals and leaves everywhere. So it's not only visually pleasing, but it's really practical in terms of immersion. And then you're also running into these little foxes, which there are quite a bit of, that lead you to shrines that you have to follow. And then you'll see these yellow birds flying around, and then they'll take you to, and you don't even know what you're going to get when you start following the birds. Could be a hot spring, could just be a town, could be the objective of your quest.
So is there like no mini map at all, or is it kind of like how Skyrim is, like with the top bar with the little?
There is no mini map. There is a regular map. There is no mini map. It's just all in the upper left hand corner. If you're like like if you're getting close to something, it'll say 20 or like 200 kilometers away,
Mhm.
and then 190 kilometers away. But you're pretty much just using the wind, man, and the wind guides you.
Yeah, I think it's really cool how they implemented the trackpad in this game. Swiping up is the wind. Swiping down is what is swiping down? Is that a bow? Left is the flute.
Left is the flute. You can change the weather with the flute. So
I
sick.
didn't know
So
that.
it's like Wind Waker.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, you just play it. If it's raining or if it's cloudy and you want it to be sunny and sunshiny again.
Oh,
just-
dang.
It's-
Have you found any areas where there's like the bow sign?
I don't think so. I don't think I have bowed yet.
Yeah, there's a couple like shrines or like areas like near rivers or they're kind of just like scattered across. But if you bow at them, then like something will happen.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out for those.
I won't give anything away.
Please don't.
It's really not that big a deal, but it's just kind of cool.
Neat. I do think that Sony has definitely been like, hey guys, we got this thing that you can swipe in 4 directions. Why don't you put it in your game? Because we just recently saw it in The Last of Us Part 2. You play guitar with swiping on it, and now in Ghost of Tsushima.
That's pretty
So
cute.
next up in Ghost of Tsushima, we will talk about maybe the gameplay a little bit more and how we feel about the lack of a lock-on button. We did already touch on it before, so we're not going to spend too much time on gameplay, but that's one thing that I at first thought I was going to hate, the fact that I'm such a Souls vet and I'm so used to hitting R3 to lock onto enemies. The fact that a game that relied so much on like precision combat, I thought it would need it, but so far it's been okay. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I was a little frustrated by it at first, but it hasn't really been such a big issue. I mean, the only times it's really frustrating is when there's like a ton of enemies surrounding you and it's just like a super close shot. So it's like you really need to like roll away to actually get a good feel for like what it is you're fighting and like trying to like plan who you're gonna take out first.
I've found that by holding L1 and blocking, it gives me pretty good control on which way I want to go with my next attack, and it does it all with keeping it in its super immersive, no HUD type look, which maybe is why they wanted to keep it that way, just to sort of keep it a little bit less gamified and being concerned with its visual aesthetic so much. Maybe that's why they went without it, but anyway, so far I think it's been okay. I'm interested to hear from you, Tyler, whether or not you find that you're engaging most combat encounters as more of a samurai or a ninja.
I definitely try to do them as a ninja, but I feel like they always fall apart at some point. So
And do you feel equipped enough to like still keep it going?
to keep like the stealth going?
I mean,
Or-
no, just to sort of like, when are you like, oh shit, I messed up, now I'm screwed, or are you like, okay, now it's time to fight, bring it on?
I mean, there are some times where there's things that I feel like I'm not utilizing enough. Like I have like the wind chime unlocked as a ghost skill, and so those just like are used to lure guards to the direction of wherever you throw the wind chime. And I feel like I'm definitely not using those to the extent that they were designed for.
I'm sorry, which things that you're throwing? The kunai?
No, they're wind chimes.
Oh, okay, because the kunai are super useful.
Yeah, the kunai are super useful. I mean, I have been using like the bow and arrows a lot.
Mhm.
I'm almost like almost always like starting off an encounter or like a confrontation by just like taking out all the archers that I can see first.
Sniping, just camping.
Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, then I just try and get like headshots and some of the other guys until they finally see me.
Doesn't the AI start to kind of mess up a little bit if you sneak and then get caught and then people just kind of don't know where to go? I've
Yes.
seen that a little bit. There's like, oh god, ooh, you could be like right there, and then you're like just killing people, and one of the
Yeah.
guards is like, oh, I can't see him.
We have been pretty much completely positive on it so far, but the AI is not great. There are definitely instances where there's just somebody wandering around that apparently has gone blind and forgot you were there, or you're right. There are sometimes instances where there'll be a spear guy just
Like,
going
I
the
don't know what's going
completely
on.
wrong way.
This
Have you experienced that, Tyler? Some sort of
I,
janky AI?
I haven't. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention enough, but I haven't really experienced many janky situations.
Well,
I mean, the only janky
I-
situations
I
I
sure
found
have.
is sometimes I'll like jump into like a crevice or something that you're not supposed to be in, and I'm just like stuttering on top of this thing until it's like I'm like, all right, let me down.
yeah, the game doesn't quite have the mobility, and not to its detriment. It makes it feel more realistic of like an Assassin's Creed or a Skyrim where you can bound up buildings with no problem. So like,
Mhm.
yeah, there are some times where I'm like trying to make a jump and it's just like, nope, can't do it. And let's see, any other flaws we want to talk about before we move on? I know this has been a big talk, but that's what we promised you and that's what we gave you.
One minor point that's sometimes frustrating is when you need to search areas for like footprints or something like that. I feel like those have been kind of hard to find sometimes.
I agree, and I'm glad you brought it up because I had forgotten. Yeah, there are certainly some Witcher inspired missions where you're playing samurai detective and either following footprints or investigating a household and just brilliantly deducting things just by holding R2.
Mhm.
And the footprints definitely, they don't have any sort of like scent trail or anything like that. You just be like, it'll be a bunch of footprints and then 20 feet of grass and then more footprints beyond the grass. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, that was a little bit of a pain in the ass to find. So yeah, that's a good gripe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it would. I don't think it would hurt the game if they included like going into stealth mode or whatever it's called in game. If they just showed footprints or something like that in that mode.
Oh yeah,
I don't
that's
know
a
why.
good idea. Yeah, the game does sort of have a listen mode / highlight all the enemies mode by pressing the touchpad when you're encounters, which I kind of forget to use all the time. But early on, you're not being as stealthy as you are later on when you're fully becoming the ghost. All
ooh.
right, so that's going to wrap up our deep dive into Ghost of Tsushima. We will be back next week to give our I'm betting Tyler's final thoughts, seeing as how
See.
he likes to burn through games when he's really into them. I think I'll probably still have some ways to go, but who knows? As far as other games we have been playing, myself, it's nothing. But Anthony,
Ooh,
I
that's
want to
me.
know a little bit about this, and thank you for being patient and
Hey, no problem.
interjecting when you can.
It's all good.
Um,
Try to
uh,
stay good.
try to
Sorry, I'm so
stretch,
tired.
trying to
Fucking
avoid
teeth.
yawning every 15 seconds.
It's okay. Just a mess.
All right, well, why don't you tell us about Shantae, Half Genie Hero? And
That's so good.
so
It's so
good.
cute. It's great. I mean, I think it was definitely something I needed, going back to Tyler's burnout topic of, kind of once you play the shit out of a game or you just super into it for the longest time and then you kind of like feel yourself burnt out after a little bit.
Mhm.
It was nice to kind of go back and have a refreshing, like, I think switching genres really was a big plus for me in that like aspect. I went from playing pretty much just hardcore RPGs, like straight all that, to like a cute action adventure platformer, and it was definitely much needed. One, the soundtrack's banging. I love that
Mhm.
soundtrack. It's super good. The art's amazing. I love the style that they went with. I think all the characters are adorable. Shantae's adorable. All the NPCs are great. The dialogue's pretty good. I mean, it's like you can tell they're kind of trying to be funny, like try hard funny sometimes, but other times it's nice, like quirky sense of humor, kind of like along the lines of Mario RPG in a way.
Uh-huh.
But it's neat because it's basically almost the format if like Legend of Zelda was an action platformer. So as you progress through the game, you play as Shantae at first. There are a couple other modes which is really cool too that came out since the game was released. I know it was crowdfunded originally, but
Mm.
since its initial release, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago, I got the Switch edition, so it's just been constantly free updated with mode. It's like hero mode, Pirates Queen's Quest, friends, like all for one or whatever. Yeah, it's like some mode like
I
friends
know
for
you just
all.
mentioned this before the show, but I don't think I fully processed it. It's going for $215 physical on Switch.
No, that's the one before. That's Shantae and the Pirates Curse because I was interested in playing that once I just beat the Half Genie Hero because I was like, oh, I'm curious to see how much this is because I thought it was for Wii U, but I can't find it on Wii U anywhere at all, which is weird. So I
Wow.
just was like, oh, I'm gonna search eBay, and there's physical copies of it on the Switch, but that's going for between $150 and $300, which is stupid.
Wow. Can you get it digital?
I could get it digital probably, but I mean, I wanted to. The whole point of like looking for a physical is like, oh, I want a physical. I'll see if I can find it because that was for Wii U, and I was like, well, I might as well, bolster that very small Wii U collection I have.
Mm-hmm.
But turns out Half Genie Hero also released on the Wii U, so I think that might have just been the one I was thinking of.
So
And
is
I
Shantae
had
for the
digital.
Game Boy Color the original game in the series?
Oh yeah, the original one that came out, that was like Capcom put it out years ago. It was like one of the last. I think it came out like after the Game Boy Advance was out. It was one of like the last titles they published, and now it's hit like super rare status. Even though hasn't been physically re-released, it's been digitally re-released on like the 3DS eShop since I think it was even on the Wii U when that was still up. That
Okay.
eShop. But if you want to go for a physical like original Shantae in box, that's Earthbound prices. It's like $400, close to
Jeez.
that, 300,
Wow.
400. It's gross.
I just Googled it.
What we got?
10 grand.
That's
10
what?
grand for
Dang.
sale on eBay.
stupid. Was it like graded in box or is it?
Brand new conditions. No
That's
returns.
crazy.
Sellers got 100% positive feedback. He sold for over 3,000 things.
Holy cow.
See, if I could go back in time, I think about this way too much. Is like if I could go back in time, knowing when I know certain games when they came out, I'm like, I'd buy that and just buy that, just
like
save it.
Biff from Back for the Future 2.
But just
like-
video games.
Just video games. That would
And the
be
worst part
great.
is, I probably wouldn't even sell them. I'd just be like, yeah, I have that.
Mhm.
That's why you gotta buy two.
That's true.
Yeah. This is like a great video topic that we could do. Like we just change our whole thing around and make movies about going back in time and buying rare video games.
I'd love. Oh, man, that's a wet dream come true for me. I love to do that. You ever have those dreams where you like you buy something you really want, or like you just get a whole bunch of one thing that you've wanted for a while? This happens with me because I'm a child living in an adult's body with like trading cards. Like I'll just stumble upon like a factory or someone will like I'll be in a store and I'll just get like a bunch of like Magic the Gathering cards or like a bunch of old Digimon cards in like the packs. I'll be like, oh sweet, I can't believe I got all of these, and then like I'll go somewhere else in the dream and be like, oh that's right, I got these. But then I'll wake up and be like, ah. And it's just a dream.
Have you heard of the site Lukey Games?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well they got
What
it
is
on
it?
sale for $752.47. It's just a vintage game site.
Oh wow, $7,000.
No, $752.
Oh.
This is used.
Holy
Yeah.
crap! Is it still in box with manual?
I couldn't quite decipher that, but man, there is some sort of
wild.
holy grail quality to this type of thing that it would be just so cool to stumble upon, or just like a random tag sale or anything like that. It's
Yeah,
like
if you especially the tag sale.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god,
Go like, oh yeah, I can give you like
$5.
$1.
Yeah, but people who don't know are the ones. That's like the lady who gave me all of her free PlayStation 1 games when I worked at GameStop because we stopped taking the trade-ins.
Oh,
She just
right.
came in with a huge bag and was just like, "Can I trade these in?" And I was like, "Because we're not supposed. That's a big no-no." I was looking around. I was like, "No, I can take care of them for you if you want, though." She goes, "Okay." Parappa the Rapper.
Jeez.
2 copies of Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid VR Mission, King's Quest, which is not King's Quest.
That's the From
King's
Software.
Quest. Yeah, the first I got King's Quest. I think it was either 1 or 2. I just found that the other day. I was like, oh my god, I have King's Quest.
Damn, I would love to see you screen that.
That'd be.
that's
I don't
so
think it'd be
random, but-
fun, but it'd be an experience.
don't think it'd be
It looks
fun.
like shit.
It'd be fun for me, and that's what's important.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm down. I just got to figure out how to hook up my PS1
Or your PS3.
to stream it. Yeah, that too.
Cool.
That'd be fun.
So Shantae, Half Genie Hero. I know we got a little sidetracked there, but that was a good little sidetrack. $20 out on the Switch now. It's got extremely positive feedback on Steam, and I would like to check it out. Where would you recommend starting off for Shantae?
You can kind of go anywhere. I mean, this is honestly, this is one of my backlogs, which I'm glad I actually went back and got to play because you get, I mean, for the amount, I think I got it for like $40-$50, and that was the day 1 edition. It came with like a soundtrack, art book. It was really sweet because the inside the game manual, the Switch case. Remember how games used to have the little manuals tucked in to the side. It had one of those. It had like its own manual, and I was like, oh my
Like
god.
a real game manual. I
Yeah, a real
remember.
game manual for once. It was cute because it's like a smaller book, 'cause it's like right above the little Switch cartridge holder. So it was sweet.
Oh, that is cool.
I was very happy to
Um,
see that. But you can start anywhere. I mean, if it's cheap and you don't mind digital, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse is great. Risky's Revenge. I think the order of the games is Shantae, the first one for Game Boy Color, Risky's Revenge, which is I think only digital. I got it on the DSiWare back when that was a thing, when the Nintendo eShop for the DS was up. But I think you can get it digital now on most places. Then there's Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, which I think you get on Wii U, Switch. Pretty easy to find digital. I think it's on Steam too. And then Half Genie Hero. And then the newest one that just came out is Shantae and the Seven Sirens, which is like I think the fifth one. And yeah,
Oh,
you can
wow.
really
I
start
didn't-
wherever.
Cool. Well, I'll have to give Shantae a shot because it's definitely up my alley in terms of its art style and genre, and it's one I've been meaning to check out for a while. So
It's
cool.
fun. I'd recommend it. You beat
Um,
it in a weekend. Took me 8 hours to 100% it. Like 8 hours, 40, like 50 minutes. It tells you your clear time, your item percentage right at the very end, which is neato.
Oh, nice. I like that.
nice. Love one game. Do you get a ranking too?
No, it just does that, but it gives you the bonus, and then you unlock like concept art, which is like it's a neat little concept, and I like seeing it. But I'm like, oh, okay, well, concept art, cool. I'm like, if I could just give me the files, I can put it on my computer, that'd be great. But I can't do anything when they're stuck in the TV.
Right.
Word. All right. Well, that's what we've been playing, and now we're gonna move on to cruising.
For news and news.
Ah, yeah. Part of the show, we talk about things happening in the industry that we found notable or interesting. A lot of Xbox stuff this week, and unfortunately, Kenny's not here, who's the main Xbox
The
know-it-all of
ambassador.
all things.
Xbox main man.
So you're just gonna have to deal with me, Tyler, and Anthony giving our
Yes.
thoughts on the fact that xCloud is going to be included with Game Pass Ultimate. Phil Spencer writes, with cloud gaming and Game Pass Ultimate, you'll be able to play over 100 Xbox Game Pass titles on your phone or tablet. And because Xbox Live connects across devices, you can play along with nearly 100 million Xbox Live players around the world. So when Halo Infinite launches, you and your friends can play together and immerse yourselves in the Halo universe as Master Chief, anywhere you go and across devices. The Game Pass Ultimate subscription currently gets you access to both Xbox Game Pass for console and PC, as well as subscription to Xbox Live Gold bundled in. Starting in September, xCloud will be included in this deal, which includes the US, South Korea, Canada, and many Western European countries. xCloud is still in testing phases for iOS devices, though it works superbly on Android phones and tablets. Wow, that's pretty cool. Another consumer-
So can
Okay,
you
maybe not.
can you access xCloud on like an Android TV?
Is that the same as a
Question.
Roku TV?
Well, no, a
Um,
Roku TV would probably, I assume, would be different. But
So you have an Android TV? You have it has Google Assistant and whatnot?
yep, yeah,
What brand is it?
it's a Philips.
Philips.
Philips
That's a great
CDI.
question. He does specifically say phone or tablet, so I do think that they probably thought of that. They were like, "Oh,
I know, probably.
can't
Oh,
allow
I
that."
get it.
You need a
Well, I
console.
know.
You need a console to play on TV.
Yeah. Although
sneaky.
you never know. Maybe that's if they're like people will pay for the fidelity and guaranteed frame rate with the console, but
Mhm.
Oh,
that would essentially make it a Stadia.
Yeah, it would.
Stadia.
But
Mhm.
I don't know. I wonder if I'm sure there's going to be like some hackers out there that are going to be able to like hack an Android TV or like other smart TVs to get like xCloud running on it or something.
hmm Well, I think that this is a cool move. I personally think that for me, the whole prospect of streaming and playing on the go since COVID is like, why? It's like I'm home all the time and I got this big sexy TV now. Do I really want to be playing the newest Halo Infinite on a 5-inch phone? Like I love the novel concept of it, and I love the fact that it could be possible. Um, I don't know. Do you guys, in general, I'm just feeling that way about to-go gaming. It's just not something that I'm doing these days. I know Anthony, you're still playing your mobile games.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, do you guys have any less excitement, more excitement? Does COVID change anything of that like that for you?
I mean, I
Oh.
never really had a whole lot of excitement to begin with when it came to like mobile gaming. Yeah, I thought it was a cool concept. Yeah, COVID was really like, or before COVID, everybody was like, go, go, go. And now everyone's like, stay, stay, stay.
Slow, slow.
Well put.
It was. I mean, it depends on the internet connection for me because I know the internet at my job is where I mainly play most of my mobile games. I'm a great employee,
Mhm.
but it's not that good. So I mean, depending on where I'm at, if it's got good signal, that'd be really interesting to see. But it's most of the time if you're out, if you're about like, unless you're connected to somebody's Wi-Fi at their house or at a hotel or whatever, 'cause it'd be cool to just if
Right.
you're going somewhere and staying and got some time to kill and you're on a Wi-Fi source,
Yeah.
that'd be
And
pretty
like
neato.
I am planning on going away. My birthday's next week. I
Woo.
am gonna go on some sort of remote mini vacation with Elena, and maybe I'll finally play my Switch and maybe I'll get Shantae or something because that thing has been sitting collecting dust.
Do it.
Mm-hmm.
There just has not been anything coming out. There's Paper Mario, but um, Andy's real mad because you don't get XP.
It's dumb. There's no point in battling. It's a part of the Mario RPG. You battle.
I don't know, man. The reviews are pretty positive. It's like 81
Yeah,
on
people
Metacritic.
are loving it apparently. So I mean, there must be something good about it.
You buy everything, man. I'm so surprised that you're just like, screw it.
Yep, because I know I'm gonna get like it's just I feel bad. I know I'm gonna say this about you can say this about any game. I just play it for 5 minutes and put it on the shelf, which is usually what happens because they have the attention span of a goldfish. But it just
You do
didn't
it.
look. I mean, I like the style, but I was like, you know what? I could just go back and play Paper Mario: A Thousand Year Door just as easily.
Or Mario and
Or-
Luigi. Those are good
Yeah,
games too.
exactly. I love those games.
Oh, yeah,
I love
they're
the
really
Mario
good.
Luigi.
Yeah, it's a bummer the studio closed down. They just
Yeah, that does suck.
couldn't keep it going. So next part of this Xbox trio of delights, Xbox Live Gold is no longer available in 1 year increments. Why? What we're gonna find out on Thursday, I bet, with the Xbox first party showcase. Although maybe not. It might just be pure games.
Yeah, that's what they say
Why
it's
are-
gonna be.
Yeah, they actually.
I
nailed
mean,
that
I don't know. I
down.
mean, it seems like they're phasing it out to make room for Game Pass subscription models or something.
Do you think that this means that gold will eventually be dissolved? Because I almost think like if it doesn't mean that, then it's very anti-consumer because you're taking away the best value, as in
Yeah.
the $60 of the year. If you're only going to be able to offer $25 for 3 months, which comes out to $100 a year.
Hmm.
I mean, I have also heard rumblings that Microsoft is just gonna do away with paid online memberships.
I saw that.
That would be sweet.
It would be sweet.
We
And then
get
I
a
saw.
paid online.
What I think they're going to do is it's going to be an all-in-one thing. Game Pass Ultimate, $15 a month. You get Gold, XCloud, Game Pass. And
That
I
would be
think that
nice.
it might be a hard sell for some people that are like, I don't want Game Pass. I play 2 games and I just want to be able to play online. And $15 a month is a hell of a lot more than $60 a year. So
Yeah, I
it'd be
think they
interesting
would.
to see.
Yeah, I feel like they would have to go if they are doing away with an Xbox Gold, like an online membership. I feel like they would have to offer it for free because I mean, look at all the Fortnites and the free battle royale games. They would be
Mm,
basically forcing people to purchase a bundle Game Pass and Live subscription at that point just to play those types of games.
True. And I know we talked about it on the show a long time ago, but you actually can, and maybe they changed this, but you used to have gold to play Fortnite and other free-to-play games on Xbox, and you
Oh
did
wow.
not on PlayStation, which is something that people don't really talk about. I'm actually going to Google that real quick because I'm curious.
That's
Stand
wild.
by for results.
I remember it was nice back in the good old days of PlayStation 3 online. I was like, oh, I don't have to. I think that's when I started transitioning more into PlayStation. I was like, oh, I don't have to keep paying like, I don't know, $60 a year to play Xbox 360 with my friends. I can just play PS3 for free.
So coming straight from Epic, that is still the case. You do not need PS Plus to play Fortnite. You do need Xbox Live Gold. So it's gonna be interesting. Like it's hard to predict where I still stand by that that's what they're doing. It's shitty if they're just taking away the best value so that they can charge people more that don't want to buy into the Game Pass. What do you call it? Ecosystem.
Hmm.
So the other final part of Xbox before we can move on to some Nintendo stuff. Xbox Series X and Series S, all digital and production. Microsoft has confirmed this. So the only thing that they're going to be continuing producing going forward is the Series S, which is the less powerful than the Series X, of course. But any hypothesis about this?
Probably
Why are
just
they
making
not?
way for the next gen.
Yeah, but a lot of times, like, why would they take away the Series X and not the Series S? I mean, yeah, exactly, because the X is more powerful. I guess they just don't want to flood the market with like 5 different Xboxes, and they
Probably, but I don't know why they'd keep the like less, the less powerful one over the. Maybe it's because it's easier to just produce and have out there, rather than.
yeah, maybe it's a lot cheaper. Maybe their margins are better on it. And there's still so much speculation about what this Series S is going to be, or Code Lockhart, the GameCube-sized Xbox Series X that we've been hearing about for so long that has yet to be confirmed. So I don't really know what to think about it. It's interesting that the moves that Microsoft is making. It's only 2 days before their big event, which we may or may not learn about, the nitty gritty of next gen stuff. But we will learn about Halo Infinite. They're definitely hyping the hell out of that. So more to come next week once we have
You
more
betcha.
impressions to give. So Nintendo Mini Direct happened yesterday. I'm going to let Anthony take the wheel on this one. Take the wheel.
Oh God, I can't drive the car. Why, Wiley? I can't drive standard. I don't know. I can't. I didn't watch it. Big surprise.
Oh,
Sorry. I watched two excerpts from it. I watched the Shin Megami Tensei 5 trailer and the little part after that where they announced the HD remaster of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne for HD, which I was super stoked on.
Okay, so you gave us a great rundown of what the Shin Megami Tensei series is yesterday in the Discord,
Yes.
and I put in the outline that I wanted you to explain this to the viewers and listeners that may be
Sure.
Persona fans or that keep
Sure.
hearing this very Japanese sounding game and don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, right. I was even thrown off at first, and so I'm gonna start the story off with a little story role play. So picture this. You're a little boy, not a little. Well, you're like 6th grade, 5th grade, a little boy.
I was
In
big.
GameStop, you're just like, ooh, oh, GameStop is great. You got your PS2 and you got your like I don't know $30. And you're like $35. You're like, oh man, my wallet's so heavy. I got my pockets. I got to spend this money on video games. It's a lot of money. And you're looking at the used games because that's that's where you always go. And you're looking around, you see in the rack this this PlayStation 2 game, and it's got like kind of like a funky looking color. It's all red. You're like, oh, what's that? And you pull it out, and it's just half of this dude's like cool looking face, and it's just like an anime boy eye, and it's all red, and there's like some blood splatter, and there's like trails coming down his face like a cool tattoo, and then you look over the side and it says Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, and there's like some blood splatters, and then there's a little circle.
I'm looking at it right now.
There's a little circle that says featuring Dante from Devil May Cry series. And then there's a little like hexagon looking thing, and then you're like, ooh, that's spooky. It's kind of like Satan. It's bad. I want to play this game. Because then you flip it over and you're like, oh, this looks like Final Fantasy. It's got turn-based and everything. And there's cool little monsters in the back. And that was my first exposure to the series.
And was that 2, 3, 1?
3. 1 and 2, I want to say, are older. I know they've remade them a couple times in Japan, but they were like, I can't even say what system, to be honest. I think like, I don't know, one of them might have been Super Nintendo. I think the remake was on Super Nintendo, but it was like old.
Super Famicom, Shin Megami Tensei 1992.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's an old series. It actually predated. It helped Pokemon, or helped the monster catching franchise, or helped influence it in a way, because the way that the Shin Megami Tensei series of games plays out is that you're typically like a devil summoner. So you go around and you converse with the demons you fight, or the random encounters of the demons, and you can recruit them to your side by going through certain conversations. Much akin to Persona when you're like the shakedowns or whatever. But the difference is that the SMT or Shin Megami Tensei games, which are now there's a whole bunch of spin-offs and like other games that don't share the same like numbered in the series, like 1 through whatever.
Mhm.
But those are the main line, Shin Megami Tensei. The latest one that came out was 4 Apocalypse for the 3DS, and before that was Shin Megami Tensei 4 for the 3DS, which are really good. And Persona is like a spin-off or an offshoot of that, along with a very Pokemon-like series called Demi Kids. There's Light and Dark version, which came out on the Game Boy Advance, which I had, and I was like, oh, this is pretty neato. And there is, I think, a couple other ones like that. There's like Jack Bros for the Virtual Boy was an offshoot of it, which is I don't know. I never played on the Virtual Boy. I just remember seeing all red. I don't know if it's a platformer or it's like a kind of like one of those like mystery dungeon like RPG games, kind of like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, but with
Mhm.
Jack Frost from the mascot, basically the Atlas mascot in Shin Megami Tensei. But in those games, the Shin Megami Tensei games, at least the mainline series, you go around. Like I said, you're a devil summoner, so you have you wind up in these either weird situations where it's like pretty much hell on earth, or it's like the apocalypse. Like in Three's case, Nocturne, the first exposure, my first exposure to the series, is that you start the game out as a normal dude. You're getting off the subway. You're a kid in high school going to meet your friends at the park, and they're like, "Oh, our teacher told us to meet for some project we're doing. We got to go to this old hospital." So you go to this old hospital, and you're looking around. And it's like really, really the atmosphere in that game, I have to say, is amazing because
Hmm.
right off the bat, it's like really creepy. The music's awesome. The music in that game sets the atmosphere excellent. Battle music is crazy, just in
So
general. And that,
this remaster is coming out now for Switch.
yeah, in 2021, I guess, is what the direct said. So
So
that'll
we're
be.
getting the remaster of 3, which is
Mhm.
kind of like the only other console or like modern console game I would say, because you said 4 as a 3DS game, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then and 5, so that makes sense why they're skipping 4 because it's on the 3DS.
Yeah, and that came out in like it was weird, kind of two-parter, not two-parter, but I guess like the Shin Megami Tensei 4 and then 4 Apocalypse was like one that followed up, kind of like a not sequel deal.
Gotcha. Well,
But
cool. Thanks for the history lesson. I also was when I was looking to the left, I wasn't not listening. I was just looking at
no, that's okay.
Wikipedia's on the original game.
Yeah, it's because
um,
basically the biggest difference in those is that in one you pretty much have like a party of demons, aside from Persona, where it's like Persona is like your social guys, and you each control like a demon, but you get like one. Whereas you pretty much go around and recruit the demons in Shin Megami Tensei, and those fill out your party. So the demons you recruit are your party, and you can fuse them and everything, and make new ones, more powerful ones.
Sweet. Sounds
It's
a little
good.
like Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior,
Yeah.
Pokemon, all that stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, Very neat. So some other stuff that they went over in the very mini direct, just shortly over 8 minutes. The DLC coming for Cadence of Hyrule, which actually, despite my not enjoying the game, looked really neat. There's a few new playable
Mm.
characters, 39 new songs, a whole new campaign with Skull Kid. Tyler, you were a fan of Cadence of Hyrule. Is this something that you think you're gonna get?
Probably not. Even though the DLC did look really cool. Looked like a lot of like interesting new characters were being introduced.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much it would really change the game for me if I were to play through it again. I mean, I think the appeal for those Cadence of Hyrule games is to see like how fast you can go through like a single run. For certain people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really get that kind of like interest level when it came to it. I just kind of played through it at my own leisure. But I could see how it could be really fun and exciting for people that are really into those games.
For those that don't know, Cadence of Hyrule was the uh, rhythm-based top-down Zelda game developed by an outside studio, a Western studio, I'm pretty sure, that made Necromancer. What was
Yeah,
it called? Necromancer.
Cadence of the Necrodancer or something.
Or Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Crypt of the
Thank you.
Necrodancer.
Yeah. So this is coming out for $14.99, which is a better price than I thought. The season pass, 3 different packs. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Other thing that they showed was some WWE 2K Battlegrounds, which is trying to be like a throwback wrestling game where it's super arcadey because everybody thinks WE 2K games are trash. Looked kind of fun. They had like some streamers, influencers reacting to these really over the top moves, going like, "Oh snap!" So we'll see how that goes out. I know that the other 2K Battleground games have gotten some mixed reactions. And other than that, they showed some really generic looking game with the word rogue in it, which I already forgot about. And that's about it. I mean, people have been wanting to hear from Nintendo for a while now. I know that they've been severely affected with the whole quarantine and COVID situation, so they probably aren't having the sort of E3 showing that they would have, and maybe they don't have the resources that Sony and Microsoft does to still put together the type of showing that people really desired, because we really don't know what the next big Switch game is going to be at this point. They had so many rumors about Mario doing his 35th anniversary thing and a bunch of remasters coming out. Still no word on that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what their big fall game's going to be. So
do we know when like the 35th anniversary actually is?
When I want to say that it's this year, so I think it's probably still to come, because I mean the first Mario came out in '85, and so that's 35 years. So I think it gives them a big window. I don't think they're going to do it on the exact date. That would be kind of cool though. Moving on, our next story comes from Jason Schreier, Bloomberg, formerly of Kotaku. It's a really in-depth story, so I didn't put the whole thing, and sorry to end the show on a little bit of a bummer. But there's a lot more details coming out about the toxic work environment at various Ubisoft studios, apparently coming from the top in a lot of cases. And it was a little bit... I learned about the history of the company. It's been around since the mid '80s. It's a family business. The Guillemot family, the five brothers, all have different roles. I forget how you say his first name. It's Ibes. Guillemot is the CEO and has been, I believe, since 1988. It details. I highly recommend people check it out. These guys, I just sent them the story today, so they didn't get a chance to read it yet. It just came out this morning. It goes into a lot of detail. So the part that I put in to the outline, because it was relevant to me, was that they've been essentially shoehorning in male protagonists into the last few Assassin's Creed games, just because the marketing director would have it no other way, despite most of the dev team wanting them to have female leads. This goes all the way back to Assassin's Creed Syndicate, where Evie was supposed to play more of an important role. She kind of got short-sighted by Jacob, who was a less cool assassin character. In Assassin's Creed Origins, Bayek was apparently originally supposed to be killed off, and you were supposed to play as his wife, Aya. Now, personally, I love Bayek. I think he's one of my really favorite protagonists ever, I think his voice actor is great, and I think that he's very relatable, and his relationship with his son and his quest for vengeance is very righteous. But then they wanted Cassandra to be the only playable character in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and they kind of were like, nope, that's not going to sell. They then added Alexios, who pretty much, even though they did some research, 2/3 of players picked Alexios, but you can just listen to the voice actors, and it's no comparison. Cassandra is a more enjoyable character who feels better suited for the tale. So anyway, I know you guys didn't get a chance to read the story yet, so there's not a whole lot you can add, but I did want to recommend people check it out. You can find it just by Googling Jason Schreier Ubisoft story. Maybe next week we'll touch upon it, because it is a great piece of reporting that I think maybe it's his first major sort of scoop from his work at Bloomberg. Now that he's not at Kotaku, it seems like he's still got the same amount of connects and resources that he had before. So highly recommend people look into it. So anything we want to talk about now, guys? We're through the outline.
Did you know that Jay and Silent Bob are coming out with a game?
Oh yeah,
Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl.
Sick.
Really?
Yeah, it's unlimited run games. You can pre-order right now for $29.99.
Wow.
With
That's
Samurai
pretty cool.
Showdown. Or Samurai Showdown's also there for Bleh. Ooh, for if you want it on Switch or PS4, it's Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collection Classic Edition is $69.99. Jesus.
So this looks like an 8-bit game, the Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl. It's like, or even looks like a Game Boy game, man. I'm looking at some screenshots.
That's wild. Yeah, it's probably like more of the going with the
Dude, it
retro
is
look.
literally an NES game. You can play it in an NES cart. In it,
Huh.
so I'm pretty sure
That's
you're talking
sweet.
about limited run games, like it's
Mhm.
actually playable on an original
Hmm.
NES.
Wow.
No, it's on Switch or PS4.
Okay, well maybe they're
Huh.
being the cartridge.
Ugh.
Okay, it's $55 if you want the NES version,
Woof.
and it's sold out. I'm looking at limited run games right now.
Oh, you can't. Oh, the cartridge just sold out.
Mm-hmm. You can get it in green, yellow, or gray. You can get it in Bob Green, J Yellow, or NES Gray.
Ooh,
Nice. Limited run games, man. This is
it's a good site. I'd recommend if you like it's check it frequently because they update with certain games. That's why that's one of the Shantae and the Pirates Curse. That's why it's going for so much money. That was a limited run.
let's see, they got Return to the Obra Dinn coming to PS4
And
That's
Switch, I
pretty
think.
neat. Dude, I've been wanting to play that game forever.
You should pick it up. It's the cheapest it'll ever be, probably. At
Dude,
least physical.
Literally everything on the site is sold out.
Yeah, you go to like incoming because they do it by.
Okay.
That's just like their gallery of the old stuff. You can't buy any old stuff. It sucks ass. But new stuff, if you stay on top of it, you can
It's right in the
pre-order.
name. Limited run. I mean, I shouldn't complain. So upcoming. Where are you seeing that, Anthony?
It's on the drop down where it says what's new. Or like pre-order.
What's new? Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. Oh, in stock. Yeah,
Yep.
because in stock, and then because coming
Okay.
soon.
Papers, Please. I've heard nothing but good things about that for PS4. Oh, it's actually a Vita. A Vita. Okay.
Ooh.
Very cool.
You can buy Star Wars Episode 1 Racer in an old Nintendo 64 box for the Switch.
Dope.
I don't know.
$60.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd pay that. No
Man,
thanks.
I'll think about that Return to the Obra Dinn. That's very cool. They got a $75 collector's edition. Wow.
That's wild. Hey, they got some cool stuff.
Alrighty. Well, very neat. If you're into physical games, check out that limitedrungames.com. Thank you for listening to the Level With You show. We'll be back next week with some other things to talk about.
More Ghost of Tsushima.
More Ghost of Tsushima.
Sabarai.
Hi.
Ana.
All right.
Hi.
Stay level.
Hi.
Saki.
Sagi, hi.